Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Big D podcast. I am Alex hosting today with Dylan. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm fine, Alex. And by the way, please subscribe to the Spunky Spectrum Sports, where you can not only see this episode, but see my interview with FGC assistant cross country coach Aurelio Cruz.
There you go. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, all those things, all the YouTube things. But I guess we'll start off the episode on a bit of a somber note. I guess 1 year anniversary of the death of one Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant, along with a couple others. You know, he was a legend, great guy, amazing basketball player. Unfortunately, taken too soon. But
Way too soon.
yeah, it's a day we can celebrate his life, celebrate his career, and just celebrate him as a person. And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. I'm sure he would have loved to see that Lakers championship with LeBron, but they won it for him, I think. So it's. I mean, I think most sports fans will definitely never forget where they were when they heard that news, because that was one of the most unlikely, unfortunate, and just kind of out of nowhere athlete deaths that I think we've had in a while. So especially the most notoriable, but definitely not something that anyone expected, and not something anyone's happy about. That's for sure. But
And the way that Kobe passed away showed that 2020 was going to be an unpredictable year. We just didn't know what would follow.
Yeah, we had no idea what was coming after that, and it was definitely a lot, that's for sure. And COVID and all this craziness that's been going on for the last 12 months. I mean, hopefully 2021 will start turning it around, but we will see on that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember thinking of Kobe's greatest performances, obviously that 81-point game against the Raptors, a 60-pointer in his last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember him hitting that game-winning three over Dwayne Wade, with Dwayne Wade in his face against Miami. I mean, just championships with Shaq, and I mean, he's just a lot of memories that you can reflect on, and really just. He was just such a respectable guy, and such a well-respected guy by his peers and by his friends and family and fans all across the world. But I mean, I'm 24 years old. I grew up with Kobe. I mean, Kobe was my Jordan, really. I mean, I was a little too young when the only faint memories I have of Jordan was in the Wizards days, and I mean, obviously that wasn't really Michael Jordan. I mean, but so Kobe was. I mean, he was, other than Dwayne Wade, because I was a Heat fan. I mean, Kobe was the guy for. I mean, every paper ball you threw in a trash can in class, you'd yell Kobe. I mean, it's just, he had such a huge effect on everyone, sports fans or not. Everyone knew Kobe.
And don't forget Kobe's Olympic experiences helping Team USA, the back-to-back gold medals in Beijing and London.
Yeah, I mean, man accomplished everything there is to accomplish in the sport, it seems like, and it's a shame that we don't have him on ESPN broadcasts and joining the guys and recapping these games and just being there and being here.
You imagine Kobe Bryant with Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal?
No, I mean, they're all such good personalities. It's just, they're so entertaining to listen to and watch, and just, they're so smart about the game. I mean, it's unfortunate that we didn't. I mean, honestly, his life ended before it really started. I mean, basketball's obviously, I mean, he was forever going to be known for basketball, but I mean, once you retire from the game, that's kind of when those athletes really their lives start getting really interesting, and seeing what they do next, whether it's with an analyst spot or a studio spot or doing something completely different. But rest in peace to him and Gigi, obviously, and it's an unfortunate day.
Yeah, so now we wind back to Championship Sunday, and Another elder statesman, Tom Brady, making his 10th, and I'm not kidding, 10th Super Bowl.
10th. Oh my gosh. I mean, of course, he's the man who likes to break records. He's the man who likes to do things that no one else has ever done before. Of course, he's going to be the first quarterback to play a Super Bowl in his hometown or in his home stadium. I mean, it just seems like anything there is for him to accomplish, he's going to accomplish it. Props to Tampa. I mean, Green Bay is a heck of a football team. They played well. They outplayed them enough to win. I think some questionable decision making on Green Bay's part at the end of that game cost them at least a chance in that game. First of all, Aaron Rodgers throwing that pass on third down. I think he might not have made the end zone if he tucked it and run, but it would have been a lot easier of a fourth down play. And kicking the field goal on fourth down, I don't really know what the thinking there was. You're going to give the ball back to Tom Brady with 2 minutes left in the game with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think you're going to see that football back. But those are the choices you make, and you got to live with them. And with back-to-back NFC Championship losses for the Green Bay Packers, I guess the question is what's next with Aaron Rodgers. But
well, looking back on Sunday's game, I'm wondering how Green Bay even lost that game, because going into that game, I didn't see much hope for Tampa. But one thing became clear very early in the game: Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett terrorized Green Bay's offensive line, and Packers really missed David Bakhtiari.
Yeah, they were putting pressure on Rodgers all game, and honestly, Brady, he threw the 3 picks, and it seemed like every time at the end of the game, Tampa had the opportunity to put the game away, get a 2-possession lead or whatever, throws another interception, and it looked like Green Bay was getting opportunity after opportunity to either tie it up or bring it back to a closer score game, and they just couldn't finish their opportunities. But it's football. You got to take advantage of your opportunities. You get turnovers and you don't score off of them, and it's not. And first of all, I think one of the most everyone was talking about it at the moment, but what about the end of the first half? That completely changed the game.
Yeah, because Green Bay looked like the Packers could get a double score. Instead, all heck broke loose.
Yeah, it was funny. I was actually doing a little bit of live betting during that game, and I had a draw for the second quarter. I had both teams tied for points in the second quarter, and if Tampa would have when they didn't pick up that third down, I needed them to score a field goal, and they didn't pick up that third down, and the punt team came on the field. I was like, man, I lost this one. And then all of a sudden, I see them go for it, get the first down, and the next thing I'm thinking is, all right, they're going to throw a quick 5-yard pass out to the sideline, set up field goal range, and I'll be in the money. What do you know? Scotty Miller down the outside seam, not wide open, but he beat his man, and what a terrible timing jump from that defense back. But that touchdown really changed it. I think without that play, without that touchdown, Green Bay wins. They'd win. Obviously, a lot would happen differently if that didn't happen, but that touchdown cost them the game.
What's the one thing defensive backs are taught on Hail Marys in that situation? You can't let the wide receiver beat you. If you hold him, so what? Tampa's going to kick a field goal.
Yeah, and even if he held him, he kicks the field goal. But just stay behind him. The only way, because it was only 8 seconds left on the clock when they ran that play. If you keep him in front of you and you don't let him get behind you, if that ball gets completed anywhere not in the end zone, the half's over. So it's just terrible positioning, terrible read on the throw, terrible timing on the jump. It just was a disaster for Green Bay secondary there.
And then to start the second half, Aaron Jones created a bigger disaster by fumbling. He resulted in yet another Tom Brady touchdown.
Yeah.
For 28-10 lead.
Yeah, I mean, it really Green Bay really shot themselves in the foot. Really, I mean, they had opportunity after opportunity to maybe not take control, but at least bring it back to where they would have an opportunity at the end. And it just seems like they made too many mistakes at the wrong time. And unfortunately for Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady made his plays happen when he needed to, and Tampa's in the Super Bowl.
And everyone's saying Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. How can you be the GOAT with a 1-4 NFC Championship game record?
Yeah, I mean, he was finally able to get one in his backyard at Lambeau, and it didn't even end up mattering. But,
I mean, Donovan McNabb has won the same amount of NFC Championship games as Aaron Rodgers.
that's, I mean, props to Donovan McNabb, but I think most people would be on the same page with me and saying Aaron Rodgers, you would think, is a better career guy, the guy you'd pick between the two of them. So that's not really a great guy to share that stat with. But
I think Eagle fans would probably agree, especially with how McNabb performed in the Jacksonville Super Bowl. But that's a story for another day. Now, speaking of Super Bowls, the team Tampa will face the Kansas City Chiefs, absolutely handling the Bills.
yeah, I mean that Kansas City offense is I I don't know if I've seen an offense other than Tom Brady. I mean, and even Tom Brady, that was really back when New England was like in their prime of their dynasty. I mean, yeah, he had Gronk and Edelman and Amendola, but it was, I mean, honestly, most of those were Tom Brady just carrying that team on his back, in my opinion. This offense, this Kansas City offense, I mean, if you're doubling Travis Kelce over the middle, Tyreek Hill's going to run past you. If you put two on Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce's going to beat you up the seam. It's like, how do you stop that? And they didn't even need Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Darrell Williams looks like a solid running back for them now too. I mean, it's that offensive, and I didn't even mention Patrick Mahomes. It's just, I mean, they say defense wins championships, but
Not anymore. Not anymore.
not in Kansas City, that's for sure.
Yeah, and everyone said Mahomes couldn't move in the pocket. Oh, his concussion might hurt him. Yeah, Pat Mahomes looked like Pat Mahomes. If that's Pat Mahomes at 80%, Lord knows what it'll be in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they had reports of turf toe. I mean, which depending on the severity of turf toe, that could be a crucial injury for a quarterback, especially a mobile quarterback. And I mean, he didn't run very much that game. He had 5 carries for 5 yards, I'm seeing, but he didn't need to. And I mean, a nice little, who was it? Oh no, I'm thinking about the other game. Never mind. But I mean, it's just that offense just seems unstoppable. And I mean, I know you're playing against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl is a pretty good bet to take, but I just I don't know if they're going to be able to stop that Kansas City offense. It's so overpowered.
And we talk about questionable coaching decisions in the Tampa Green Bay game. Why did Buffalo kick so many field goals?
I just honestly I think a big part of it is just you got to play different football when you're in that situation. I mean, when you're in the AFC Championship game, the Buffalo Bills haven't seen an AFC Championship game since a lot of their fans have been alive. I mean, especially the ones my age. Like you just got to. I feel like when you're one game away from the Super Bowl, regular football kind of has to go out the window. Like if you're in week 4 of the regular season, yeah, you maybe kick field goals in those situations. But when you're playing for a Super Bowl, there's nothing to lose. It's either you got to go balls to the wall or sit down. And it looks like they sat down for a lot of that game because, they got off to the early lead and I don't know if maybe they got complacent or which I don't know how you can do that against that Kansas City offense. But I mean, you got to take chances if you're one game away from the Super Bowl. I mean, that's got to be where you're pulling out all the cards, all the stops. And it just looked like they didn't really take advantage of the situation they were in my opinion.
And you know what also hurt Buffalo? A, the Bills couldn't convert in the red zone. B, Josh Allen was under so much more duress than Pat Mahomes.
Hmm.
And C, the Bills couldn't. The Bills couldn't stop Cheetah and Travis Kelce. You could get away if one of them's having a good game, but if both of them
Yeah.
played well, you didn't have a chance.
I mean, 13 receptions for Kelce, 172 yards for Tyreek Hill. You're never going to win a football game with those numbers. I
Mm,
mean, it's impossible. And Buffalo didn't get any help from the run game except for Josh Allen. I mean, he was the only one. He was the only one who could run the ball. It looked like for them. Yeldon, Singletary, or McKenzie didn't really do anything. You can only rely on the Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs connection for so long, and when you're playing against guys with that much talent on the other side of the football, everyone's got to step up. And I mean, Cole Beasley had a decent game, but no one really seemed to step up for Buffalo, in my opinion. They all just seemed to be playing like it was just another game. But
but in the end, if you're a Packer fan right now, you're frustrated with how Sunday went. If you're a Bills fan, I think you look
yeah,
on the bright side and think this was an incredible season. And we've got Jim Kelly for the next 10 years.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Buffalo's got to be one of the most promising football teams in the league right now. You've got a young team, you've got a young quarterback, you've got weapons around him, you've got a good coach, and you're just getting started. I mean, obviously, I'm not too happy about it considering they're in my division, but I think Miami's got a promising future ahead of them as well. But you're right. I think you nailed it on the head. Green Bay fans, which I was just hanging out with my buddy who's a big Green Bay fan. We were at a restaurant. Every time highlights from the game came up on the screen, he looked away in disgust. I mean, Green Bay fans are definitely very upset. This is their window. I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't getting any younger. He's starting to get even more frustrated, I think. I mean, this was the NFC. There's some good teams in the NFC, but there's no Kansas City Chiefs in the NFC. It was as open as I think it can be. And I mean, this last year was a good opportunity, and this year was an even better opportunity, I think. And they couldn't take advantage of either of them. And but on the flip side, yeah, Buffalo fans, I think they've got nothing but pride and hope for the future that they're losing seasons and missing the playoffs might be behind them for a while.
Yeah, did you see Did you see how many Bills Mafia fans cheered on the Bills heading back
Yeah, I
Sunday
mean,
night, Monday
they've
morning?
got, they've got great fans. I'll give them that. I mean, they're Buffalo fans. They're loyal. They're passionate. They're loud. They're exciting. They know how to tailgate. That's for sure. And they're happy to see their team doing well, and I'm happy for them. I guess if I'd rather see Buffalo succeeding than New England at this point. So I'd rather it be Miami that's kind of the face of the AFC East, but we might get there pretty soon. Who knows?
Speaking of the Dolphins, you guys are having a very interesting weekend. What is it, Mobile, Alabama, at the Senior Bowl?
Yes, sir. Getting I've been saying the last couple of weeks I'm hoping for back-to-back Alabama selections on draft night, and two of those guys, although they might not, or I mean, I know Devonta Smith isn't practicing. He's also not getting weighed or measured at the Senior Bowl, but I've been hearing that they've been talking a lot. I've heard especially about Najee Harris. The Dolphins have been talking to him a lot. Also, the Steelers have shown a lot of interest in him. I would love Mel Kiper, I think, had Najee Harris going 30 to Buffalo in his mock draft 1.0. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm hoping he won't be there. I'm hoping pick number 3, we get Mr. Devonta Smith. Pick number 18, we got Najee Harris. And, it's a great opportunity for Coach Flores and the Dolphins coaching staff to connect with these guys. I mean, they're the best. They're the best from college football right now, and I mean, what better chance without an NFL Combine as it normally would be? I mean, what a better opportunity than to really get a good look at these guys and have some good conversations with these guys before the draft. So I'm happy about it. I'm sure Brian Flores is happy about it. I'm sure Chris Greer is happy about it. And I think Tua might be happy about it too.
And speaking of Mel Kiper Jr.'s draft, did you see who he he put behind Jacksonville taking Trevor Lawrence? He's got the Jets taking Devontae Smith,
Yep.
and then your Dolphins taking LSU's Jamal Chase.
Jamar Chase. Yep. I mean, not Jacksonville, if the Jets decide not to go quarterback, if they decide they're happy with Sam Darnold, I wouldn't be surprised if they went the Penei Sewell route, but I mean, they don't really have very many talented. They got a couple decent receivers down there, or up there, but it's not.
The slot guy.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, it's not their most stacked position. So it wouldn't really surprise me if they went receiver. I'm hoping they don't because it's obviously such a big need for Miami. But they got a new head coach. They got a new hopefully a new system in their eyes. Hopefully a new system and a new culture down or up there in New York, and maybe they want to add a Heisman Trophy winner to that team. I wouldn't blame them if they did, but I'm definitely hoping they won't.
Yeah, so realistically, if the Jets took Devontae Smith, how would you feel?
If the Jets take Devontae Smith, I would definitely be upset. I really just it's not even as much about Devontae Smith. I mean, he's a fantastic athlete, is a great wide receiver. I would love to have him in Miami, but I mean, it would really just bum me out because of the Tua connection. I mean, that's really the number one thing. With all these guys dropping so many passes this year, that was Miami's biggest weakness this year, was drop passes by receivers. And whether that has to do with the lefty spin or just not having the stability with Miami going back and forth between Fitzpatrick and Tua a little bit this season, having a guy that he knows, he trusts, and he's played with countless times, won championships with, just that relationship that's already there, it's going to make him more comfortable because there's so many situations this season where he just hasn't looked that comfortable, or he looked a little nervous to throw the ball or a little unsure if he wanted to send it downfield instead of just checking down to one of the shorter routes. I mean, having a guy that you have a strong relationship with already, I think that would really bring out the confidence in him. So, if the Jets take him, good for them. They've got a great player, but I'm really hoping they're thinking someone else at the number 2 spot.
Would you think Miami might consider trading back because
Yeah.
they're going, the Jets don't take one. Somebody will take one of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, If Devonta Smith is gone at 3, unless they really want Penei Sewell, and really,
Chase.
What's up?
Or Jamal Chase.
But I mean, even if you trade back to say 7, Chase might be there, maybe not. I mean, depends on who goes what direction and who falls where, especially if the Jets don't take a quarterback and a couple of those quarterbacks fall, some teams that might be wanting to take a receiver, like Atlanta maybe might go for a quarterback, so but if Smith is gone, yeah, I think trade back from 3 is probably try and get as many extra picks as you can, and that's probably the call there. I would have to say.
I've got a question. Who's got the 6th pick? Because realistically, Atlanta would probably either take a receiver or Matt Ryan's replacement. I mean, Cincinnati's not taking a quarterback. I mean, would potentially Carolina at 8 make a lot of sense? Who's
6th pick is Philly.
Ooh, well, I don't think Philly would take a quarterback, but the Eagles would definitely be in play for Smith or Chase.
Yeah.
And then 7, and then who's got 7?
Detroit.
Ooh, the Lions are definitely taking a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with the Stafford news.
Oh, yeah. Where do you think Stafford's going? Indy?
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Carolina at 8, Denver at 9. Kuiper had Carolina taking a quarterback at 8.
I think Justin Fields is going to Carolina. Matt Rule wants a wants an athletic quarterback for his offense. Can you imagine Fields, C-Mac,
Yeah,
DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson?
yeah, that's nice little group they'd have there for sure. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, be plenty of speed. I can't. He had plenty of speed, athleticism, and potentially fantasy points.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I wonder is Najee Harris? Do you see him? I mean, you have him late first round, mid first round, early second round.
Uh, Mid late first round. I mean, running backs aren't the best commodities because theoretically you could get one anytime.
Right.
But I think for the right team, we've seen where running backs have made a difference. I mean, J.K. Dobbins really fit in well the last few weeks with Baltimore.
Right.
Before he sustained multiple injuries, Clyde Edwards-Helaire looked pretty decent at times.
Yeah, for sure. And and there's also Travis Etienne from LSU, who was
From
you know,
Clemson.
or Clemson. That's yeah, my fault. I was thinking Jamar Chase still. And he's, I mean, maybe late first round, early second round, depending on if a team likes his build a little bit better than Najee Harris. But there's a
Ethan's more of a game breaker. I think Harris is more of that thumper, and really for Miami, especially if you're playing a lot of 23-20 games, you want that thumper late in games.
yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It's we still got a little bit of time until draft season. Unfortunately, I wish it was tomorrow. I'd love to see that, but
Be honest. You're not the only one who wishes the draft came tomorrow because I can't. Because I want to make sure it's happening.
yeah. Oh yeah, I know. You've got to be probably a little bit more hyped than me, but that number one pick.
I'm freaking out.
I don't think Jacksonville can mess this one up. I think you're gonna have your boy.
I mean, if we mess up this draft, we should be in London. We
Yeah.
should play at Tottenham Stadium times a year.
Hey,
We'll play Seattle on a 15-hour flight.
oh God. I hope no team goes to London, man. I think that would be the worst thing for the NFL. They already have fans in England. Play once COVID ends, you can keep having those London games like one or two games or every once in a while. But I just think the logistics of having a team travel that much across the oceans and all that. I mean, I don't see how that could possibly be fair or be something any team would want or be okay with doing. I mean, it just seems that, I mean, especially like think about going to those middle of the country teams. Like, I mean, it's just I just can't do that.
How about the LA Chargers potentially playing a home or road game in London?
Yeah, I mean, I just hope it's not Miami because it seems like every time they do these international games, Miami always gets a home game taken away from them. We never get an away game taken away. It's always a home game taken away, and it's just we have such an advantage playing at that Hard Rock Stadium with the shading to where the home bench is in shade, where the away bench is in the sun, and it's already hot. Just leave Miami out of it. The Chargers can play in London. Bucks can play in London. Anyone play in London. I just don't want it to be Miami.
Chargers might actually get more fans in London than in LA. The
Yeah.
fans would be rooting for the other team. You imagine if the Chiefs and Steelers were there, it'd be 80% the road team.
Oh yeah. I mean, it barely seems like the Chargers have fans anyway. They definitely don't show up to their games. So maybe there are more in London. Who knows? But
We'll have multiple. So this concludes our conversation, but don't worry, Alex and I will be back with multiple Super Bowl episodes as we predict Super Bowl 55, but look back at special Super Bowl memories in Tampa.
All right. Can't wait for it. Pleasure being on here again, Dylan. Dylan, thank you for having me. And I'll talk to you soon.